the bell rings. Or maybe it won't. You can stop turning in your grave now, Seneca.
Ah.
Hey, welcome to the Twilight Jeweler. I'm not letting myself give another bad first impression to a customer. I think the forces I knew Minovi beforehand. That would have been so embarrassing. Otherwise, well, more than it already was. Hi, I'm Contena. So charmed to meet you. Charmed and honored. My name is Tristan. And you're the enchantress, no? I suppose some would say so, yeah. Charmed to meet you two today. Are you both looking for pieces or? Uh-huh. Rings for me and a necklace for Trist. But just the one enchantment. You'll see why later, babe. Indeed you shall. Horses. First it was Minovi's self-enchantment, now it's 2 in 1? Sure thing. That's new for me, but I'm happy to try to make it work. Oh, you'll be just fine. You're the enchantress after all. Thank you, Contena. But please do call me Twyla instead. You got it. So, are you two a couple or? Please don't disgust me, Twyla. This here is my brother. And it's shameful, but we happened to come out of the womb at around the same time too. Though of course, I was first. Oh, okay. To translate for my ineloquent sister, we are twins, Twyla. Of the fraternal nature, of course, but twins, nevertheless. Excuse me, who are you calling inadequate? Boy. Nobody. I said You're twins, how cute. Save it, babe. This creature lost any shred of cuteness he had left once he grew out that pedo stash. Alrighty then, I'll get to it, and I'll text you once the jewelry's ready. Oh, before you do, I have a special request for my ring. You see, my fiancé and I need a pair of wedding rings. Wedding rings? Are you sure you want me to make them? I haven't really done wedding rings before. Yes, I want no one but you making them. I've seen your pieces online. They look radiant, babe. I want them to be bold and sharp, but keep his subtle with a bit of flair and edge. Oh, and mine should have a nice rose on it. Okay, I'll make sure it's my best work for you, Contena. As for mine, I'm not entirely fussed, Twyla. Though I would appreciate something brazen and alluring. Sure, I'll do my best. Thank the forces for you, Enchantress. By the earth, I need all my forces for these two. You really never know these Undercity folk, huh? 3 pieces of jewelry, 2 enchantments. Enough dwelling. Time to get started. Let's do something silver. Beautiful. Necklace. Twins. Double the customer and the baggage, apparently. Just my luck. Good comes with the bad. We'll just have to struggle through this too. I could do this easily. Minovi was a true challenge. These guys are just a bit odd. So, am I just going to ignore these visions of Mum? I'm having flaring visions. It's becoming too much. It's just like this demon in my spirit just taunting me. It must be a strange result of the enchanting. It'll pass if I stay strong. I wonder how these twins will react when their enchantments doesn't work too. Well, I'm already dealing with Maribel. I'm sure I can deal with these two as well. Who cares how they'll react? Besides, I'm sure these enchantments will work in time. Beautiful crown. And then the rings. Wedding rings. I can't believe she's trusting me to make these for her. I'll put extra care into this. If she doesn't like it, then that's just how it is. People have been liking my jewelry recently. Let's try to make sure that continues. Now that I have to eat healthy, I don't even look forward to meals. I have to keep my spirits in balance, but I'll deserve a reward after tonight. I can look forward to getting past this outburst. Come on, I need to keep at it. You know, I've been learning so much about Stoicism, but is it really clicking with me? I'm really grateful to Lau for spending all this time teaching me, but I don't know. My judgments aren't the best. I still worry lots, but I'm getting better, no doubt. Beautiful. Oh, and then there's like a carved out flowerish here too. Pretty. Welcome back, you two. Your pieces are ready. Oh, they look radiant, babe. Gravitas and I are going to love them. Mine is so sweet, and he's so strong. Those details, just like I imagined. Thank you, Contena. Glad you like them. Now, how can I help you two with enchanting these? Cutting to the chase tonight is probably for the best. There's one emotion we both are in need of. We both could use a bit of arrogance in these pieces, babe. For different reasons, of course, but arrogance all the same. Sure. Arrogance sounds... Wait, arrogance? They both need arrogance and for different purposes. This'll be interesting. Twyla, is something bothering you? Sorry, just got lost in thought a bit there. Again? Who's your enchantment for, then, Contena? Well, it's a long story. Do you want the short version? I'll need as much of the story as you're comfortable telling, Contena. It'll help me a lot with understanding and enchanting your piece. Of course. I don't mind. Blooming. So the ring you want to enchant is for your fiancé, no? We're getting married soon. I'm so excited you don't even know, hun. See, I'm a wedding planner by day, and forces, I've seen more terrible weddings than any spirited person should witness in their lifetime. It almost put me off the idea of love altogether. I even had a cute little quarter-life crisis a few years back, but that's another whole thing. Finally, here I am, ready to plan my wedding. And I swear to the spirits I'll make it the most radiant event I've ever done. How under the forces could arrogance be needed here? I'm wondering, Contena, this arrogance you want your husband to feel, et moi, Twyla. Huh? Could you inform us when you've arrived at the point, Tenor? So we are aware of when to start paying attention. Contena glares daggers at Tristram. Wickedly sharp, poisoned, and serrated daggers. As I was going to say, before the goblin beside me interrupted... Tristram looks away, as she looks back over to him. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. I don't want to offend any goblins who may be listening. Yikes. Gravitas, my fiancé, and I have been going through so much lately. A couple years back, we had a baby, and stars was tough for me in those early days. Feeding and rocking, and all the sleepless nights. It was a long struggle. I was grateful. Don't get me wrong at all, babe. I love my family. My two shining stars. They're both more than I could have ever hoped for, truly. Gravitas at home looking after our daughter right now. Our beautiful Camilla. She'll be 2.5 soon. Oh, how radiant. But, oh, these days, now that we're soon to be married, and we're handling Camilla a little better, his flaring mother is back at it again. You see, Gravitas and I are high school sweethearts. We're soulbound lovers and totally... Tenor. What? should you not mention his condition, you know, following. Oh. If it's related to your fiancé, it may be helpful for you to share container, though only if you're comfortable, of course. Well, okay. I guess so. The thing is, I wasn't the only one struggling after Camilla was born. Gravitas, he had his own share of strife. Let's say, luckily Triss knew a good psychologist. Yes, the psychologist, my old riding companion. But forces, I was scared too back then. It was like he was a different person after Camilla came along. Maybe even a poet at heart, that one. He continued his pursuit of understanding the human condition, just in a slightly different capacity. I'm not sure if Gravitas ever recovered from those times. He's absolutely blooming now. He barely struggles at all with Camilla, but the Writers Guild doubted him back then. And now, look where he is. A girl, a career, and a pursuit. All at once. I envy the fellow. We still got through it. We got through the worst of it. I feel like this is no longer a one-person job. Who do I respond to? I wonder, Cantella, do you mind telling me more about these struggles Gravitas went through? I don't really want to get into it, but he had some kind of postnatal depression. I didn't think to mention it because, well, it was a dark time for both of us. I put on a brave face for Camilla back then, but it was the toughest period of my life. Really. I see. Sorry for bringing it up. He's fully recovered from it then? Yeah, we both moved on, yes. I was just thinking now though, Anyway. Hold on. You were thinking? What were you just thinking about, if you don't mind? Maybe those times. I've always wondered if that time of struggle is what made him change. I was just thinking about it again. But I don't want to think about it right now. What was I saying earlier? The issue with his mother, no? Right. Gravitas' mother has never been enthusiastic about me. Ever since we were kids, really. You'd think people would move on from these petty grudges, especially over like 10 flaring years. But unfortunately not. She has started questioning us again, now that the wedding's coming up. Questioning? How? Oh, you know, fake stuff. You can do better than her. She's not that good of a girl. She doesn't deserve someone as good as you. It's all blazing bull. Perhaps you should mention her accusations, you know, back then? She also blamed Gravitas' struggle with Camilla on me. Said it only happens if the partner's not caring enough. I found that to be particularly egregious of her. I think back to Antonia and Kaylin, and things start to make sense. So does this arrogance have something to do with Gravitas confronting his mother then? Unfortunately, no, that's not it. The truth is, we don't care much about this drama with his mother. We've come to the agreement that she can flare and piss off. Oh, fair enough. We're bloomin', really. I haven't seen my Gravitas happier before in my life. But why I'm here is... before I say anything, just know that I love... Why do I keep saying Gravitas? That I love Grievous. I love him to the stars and back. It's just, well... I've been having a bit of jitters. It's, tough to talk about. Maybe I got the wrong impression of her. Contena doesn't seem all that bad. In that case, would you like to tell me a bit more about you two first? The two of us? Oh no, I meant Contena and Grievous. I'll get to you soon, Tristram. Ah, of course, Twyla. Idiot. Are we really still doing this? So contenders soon to be married, and they look to be at least in their mid-20s, yet still, well, as an only child, I shouldn't judge, but maybe some sibling rivalries just never fade. Go on, contender. Right, so Grevas and I aren't just any high school sweetheart. We've always been so in love with each other. Always. Our bond has never faltered, not even once. Isn't it just, like, so adorable? Yeah, very cute. Oh, stop you. But you literally asked me. He's just so... I can't even explain it. He's like literally my life, my soul. My heart, my spirit. He's my fire. Your one desire? Totally. Wah, my fire, the one desire. He's my everything. I couldn't imagine life without... We get it, Tenor. Shut up, Trist. We've been absolutely inseparable for so long, and every second of it has been bliss. I'm a massive romantic, if you couldn't tell. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, girl. I totally believe in soulmates and true love. And love at first sight. And love before first sight. And all the other ones. Love is just magical. So cute but funny. Love has so much power. Really, Tenor? No jest. You can just move on now. I don't flare and care, Trist. Just because nobody has ever loved your lonely have you and Grevas always been going strong like this ever since high school? We have. He's a romantic just like myself. So even through uni, different jobs, living in different countries and time zones, we've been so strong through all of it. Even when he lived in Zenoa for a year for work. Even though moving in together, getting married, having Camilla, we were so strong. There's just the tiniest little thing. And it's just soured my mood for like half a year now. Made me feel so confused and irritated. I don't know how under the forces this kind of feeling came about inside of me. But it's there, and it's completely changed how I see Grevas. I don't know. It's so silly. I can't believe it's really how I've been feeling. You can tell her, Tenor. Twyla is someone you can place your trust in. Please, do remember that I really do love Grevas with every last piece of my spirit. I just don't want anything to change that, like even a little. You get me? I think so. It's just the wedding's less than a year away now, and even though we've been together for so long, lately I've been feeling different. Something has just ever so slightly changed in him. And because of that, I'm just confused. I don't know why, but I started feeling unsure about everything a few months ago. And I tried to tell myself that wedding jitters are normal, but they just never left.
Why?
I can't... Why? Oh, Contena, I'm so sorry for rushing you. No, babe. I just need a second. It's hard to put these disparate pieces of Contena together. I really didn't expect this from her. Tristram seems to empathize with her quite a bit, though. That could be a good direction to take this. What are your thoughts on this, Tristram? My thoughts? Oh, wait. Tenna is not lying when she speaks to her feelings towards Grevas. Despite her occasionally coming off as just a little bit abrasive. She has a lot of love inside her, it is true. And so is a cruel working of the stars, as it is for anyone that her heart is working against her. But for a helpless romantic spirit like Tenna's, the cruelty is sheer injustice. An injustice that shows the utter decadence of the stars, the wicked arbitration of which they weave our fate. Some say love and hate is one and the same. One can only hope that for this act of hatred, the stars have bestowed their love elsewhere. What are we talking about right now exactly? Yet with her overflowing, enduring love for Glivas, the stars should have gratitude that only now has any trace of hatred manifested in her. So, that is to say, Twyla, I cannot blame my sister. Nay, I can only commend her for confronting her feelings with honesty. There was a time I believed that Tenna was following some illusionary feeling she misidentified as love. I believed that her unruly heart had not fully grasped the shape of love. Alas, from whence I do not know. But the truth came to me one day, that the opposite was true. Tenna's heart had mapped out each and every edge, vertice and angle of love, forming a blueprint through which she comprehends its layers of nuance. Thanks, Trist. I don't know if I really get it, but alright, I guess that's as good of an answer as I'll get. I don't mean to rush you, Contenta, but I'm still struggling to understand where I come into all of this. Could you help me see the role of arrogance in your situation? I can. The reason for these wedding jitters, or whatever it is, I hate even thinking about it. I'm not sure how it is for you folk up here, but in the Undercity, weddings are a bit of a mess. So I've always thought without the tiniest of doubts that my wedding isn't going to be anything like the ones I've had to run. What do you mean exactly? How are these weddings a mess? Like, these people have absolutely no respect for the sanctity of love and matrimony. Like, none whatsoever. Even someone as desperate as Triss deserves better than like 90% of the lowlifes I have to run weddings for. Blazing stars, I need a new job, girl. Maybe this is why I've fallen. Fallen out of love. Just a little? Horses, sometimes you just never know. Some flaring times you really have no idea where these people will go in their errant thoughts. I mean, love isn't just a feeling, it's a choice too, which she's still making, but love adapts over time. It feels different, you become different people, you know, that's part of the process. Learning and growing together. I seem to get the answers I'm looking for in the most unexpected ways. Oh, Katena, I'm so sorry to hear that. Can you tell me about how this happened? You don't have to tell me all at once, just a bit at a time, okay? The truth is, arrogance is what I'm missing from Grievous. He is losing his edge, and the more it softens out, the more my love just fades. Telling me all at once is fine too, I'll take it. I know. It's silly. It makes no sense. I just don't understand love either, Twyla. Not fully. No matter how much I've tried, it remains a mystery. But then again, that's why we are how we are. Helpless little things, under the whim of Cupid's aim. That's exactly it, Tenna. You know, we could always use more poets in the guild. That's nice, Trist. You know what I'm saying, Twyla? The man's so headstrong. In our earlier years, a force of his own. He talked a big game and delivered too. What do you mean he talks a big game? Oh, we were dumb kids back then, but still, some things never change. Ever since those days, he's had such a flair to him, such conviction. It was all it took to sweep me up in his wildest dreams. But they weren't lies. Before I knew it, there he was. Whoa. Rockstar. He commanded the stage, put on the most killer of performances, sung his heart out. All just like he said he would when we were kids. Sure, his arrogance was the blazing sun, but still, Grievous shone brighter than most any other star. So he's a musician? Was, Twyla. He was. He still is, I suppose, just not right now. Not for a little while. Interesting. Could you tell me more? What kind of musician is he, and why exactly has he stopped? The best kind of musician. Grievous is a rock star, a real true rock star at that. Not those petty influencer types you see online, babe. All that spark and flame, all that edge. It was a core part of him. It didn't wither in the slightest, even as we grew older. His bandmates were always dull and lifeless in comparison, but who could blame them? His voice alone commanded the attention of thousands. He carved his own fiery path through the underground indie scene. Just you wait, in a few years' time, he'll be a household name. I think. You think? A couple years back, I had no doubts. Really, babe. And I'm not just saying that because I'm his amazing, super supportive wife either. You can just ask anyone. Oh, yes, indeed. It's true, Twyla. That Grievous. Every new song of his that came out, I was convinced each of them would become a magnum opus. But he just kept outdoing himself. Forces? What changed then? Well, after settling down... She trails off, but I find I can't complete the thought. Finally, I think it's all coming together now. I can imagine being a father is a big step for anyone. I wonder, was his rockstar life affected by Camilla coming along? Yeah, it was. He had to go on hiatus and then his band broke up. Again. But it was not at all like the other times, no? He'd put a lot into this one. They were doing really well. This was the band. He thought he could do both. You know, have a kid and be a rock star. Maybe he could have even, but he's just too good of a man, Twyla. He didn't want to leave our baby for a minute. So many times I'd tell him to leave. I'd tell him I was perfectly fine alone, and he could make it to the jam session or gig, the rehearsal, the interview, whatever it was. And he would start to, but without fail, he just couldn't manage to say goodbye. He'd come back to the bedroom looking at me nursing the baby with worry, and just give in. He'd cancel whatever plans he had and snuggle back up to next to us. He used to have such clear baby face, but ever since Camilla came along, I see wrinkles where there were none, bags under his eyes heavier than ever, and every so often a deep, dark worry in his gaze. He always makes time for me, but even so, if anything, I was worried it'd be hard to get a hold of him in the future. Never did I think things would turn out like this. But that's all in the past. My Grievous is all better now, except he's not, and that's why you're here, no? Something about him from before is missing, and something from his struggles with Camilla coming along has taken its place, no? Yeah. It's just, there's something. You're sure it's arrogance of all that his spirit could have lost? I am. 100% certain, in fact. It cannot be anything but arrogance. Okay, and you're sure you want to try and restore his arrogance in Grievous to change him? On a long-term basis, how can this... I know! Whoa. I know, Twyla. I so know what you're thinking. Love should be unconditional, eternal, and unwavering, implacable. You're thinking that people change all the time. It's normal. You're thinking that because I want to change Grievous, you can see the writing on the wall, that I'll want to change him more in the future. That eventually it won't work out between us. I'm committed to Grievous. Don't you worry about that. Okay, babe? I just... Look, Twyla, this isn't as simple as people change all the time. Look, I know my darling would change. I know his spirit better than anyone. Even better than Grievous himself. This is what's best for us, and that's final. Her stare is resolute. Tristram doesn't question her either. What do? I can't rightly just move past all this uncertainty. Can I? I may have to. Horses know she's not going to take it well if I try to pry anymore. No, I can't keep doing this. My spirit can't handle the stress. These enchantments could backfire in some unexpected ways. Stars, that may be what happened to Mirabelle's husband. I have no way of knowing just yet. But I need to try minimizing all this uncertainty, all this risk of chaos and otherwise, especially with a volatile emotion like arrogance. A misplaced arrogance, even a hint of it, who knows what kind of grief it could cause. There's no flair in chance I'm letting myself be reckless here. Not in the Twilight Jeweler, not while carrying Mum's legacy. Now I'm angry. I can try to keep my calm, while also holding on to a little anger. You still have so much to lose, Twyla. Don't let these people run you over. Contena, I'm going to have to ask you more. I simply cannot enchant your piece otherwise. And that's final, I add in my head. Let us hear Twyla out, Tenna. She doesn't act with malice. Okay, go ahead. I just, whatever. Playing whatever. I have to ask. Why don't you change yourself, Contena? Why don't we try enchanting something for yourself instead of Grievous? It just won't work, Twyla. I told you. I know his spirit better. Tenna. Grievous needs this, Twyla. He needs that fire back. He belongs on the stage, with the glint in his eye, that flare in his movements, as he crosses the stage. He's suffering too, not just me. He's suffering too? Then why has she not mentioned this once? Does he really need this enchantment? Is it not just you? Sorry to bring it up again, but wasn't the problem that you fell out of love, Contena? Well, yeah. Forgive me, but it seems to me like you just want him to be like this. Is that wrong? Girl, I can't change myself. I've tried to change my heart, but it's hopeless. Maybe an enchantment will be just what you need then. I don't think so. I mean, what feeling would even help me? We can figure... Besides, it is true that this feeling can help Grievous. Sure, he doesn't need it. He's capable of returning to his former glory on his lonesome, even with a little less fire. But it'll help him. I take a few moments to think through it. Why is she avoiding the issue? What issue is she avoiding? The bottom line is you want to change him, Contena, right? Let's just accept this. You want to change him because you've fallen out of love. Even if you change yourself, you feel like you'll never have the same kind of love you had before, no? Then I'm sorry, but we have the same issue we had before. You said it for me. I really don't mean to pry, Contena, but if this is the true reason behind your enchantment, then this cannot be a good sign for your relationship moving forward. It's not like that. Please, trust me on this one, Twyla. This thing, this arrogance, the fire of his that simmered. This is different to anything else about him. It might sound strange, but it really is the honest truth. Grievous's arrogance is critical to my love for him. What? Please, don't ask me why. I don't flaring no, Twyla. I wish I knew why. I wish I knew why this blazing heart of mine was so capricious. But such is love, my Tenna. Shut up, Trist. There aren't enough stars in the sky to match the number of reasons I love Grievous. I say that completely sincerely, babe. I really, truly do. I don't know why his arrogance shone brightest for my heart. I just know that it's not shining anymore. But I won't give up on what we had just because of that. All of this sounds a lot more convincing when she puts it that way, but still, I wonder. Why arrogance specifically? Could I also ask Contender, why is it arrogance that you've decided on? Horses, you have a lot of questions, don't you, Twyla? Fine, go on. Sorry, it's just you told me about his confidence behind his dreams and how he performed. So why can't it just be confidence? Arrogance could potentially... No, it's arrogance he needs, Twyla, trust me. So can you explain why? Arrogance, confidence, they're not the same, girl. A man with arrogance and the ability to propel himself forward with his arrogance is so unlike a man with just confidence alone. The thing is, his arrogance wasn't really reasonable, you know? It was too much, even if you want to think of it like that. But that's just it, Twyla. His dreams were always too big for reality. That's what swept me up in them. Stars knows he surprised us with how close he was to living up to them. The loftiest of dreams, and there he was, strolling towards them. We were struggling through uni while he was bustling through ZS's rock scene. He was in magazines, on the radio, traveling abroad for gifts and tours, the whole lot. Truth is, though, Grievous knew deep inside was just talk, that he really did need to strive to improve. And yet at the same time, he really did feel capable of all that stardom. A living paradox, that man was. Grievous did the possible with arrogance, and the impossible with confidence, which, if you think about it, is totally arrogant. So, do you get me now, girl? I think so, yeah. My Grievous was reckless and headstrong in all the right ways, and no other emotion but arrogance will bring him back. That was very unexpectedly sweet, but let me think. How would this work, really? I try to visualize the process of it all, making sure I haven't overlooked anything. Contender gifts the wedding band to Grievous. The arrogance enters his spirit, and he doesn't know? Suddenly, I feel it all falling apart. Contender, may I ask? I ignore the frustration in her look. Girl, if you don't want me to ask questions, don't be so confusing. Have you told Grievous about any of this? Of course not. Twyla, really? And you're not planning to tell him afterwards? Are you? How could I, babe? How could I possibly tell him? But it's a wedding band, and he would be wearing this for life, no? I would hope so. This is all just so messy, convoluted, a disaster waiting to happen. I can't keep myself from stressing despite myself, and despite her reasoning. The wind howls, but I don't care. I can't ignore this. You want to change Grievous for life without his knowledge, so he closer resembles his previous self? But he has been changed for life already, Twyla. The stars have orchestrated his change without his say, without his knowledge. So what if I undo that change? Sure, he doesn't know. And that's really sort of, well, it's just messed up, I know. How under the forces could I not know how messed up all of this is, Twyla? But it's more messed up for me to tell him how I really feel about him. For the only woman he's ever loved to tell the only man she's ever loved that right after struggling through having a baby and right before getting married, that she no longer feels the same way about him? How could I do that? How? Her voice cracks, and once more Tristram comforts her. For the first time, I truly am at a loss. Maybe a couple weeks ago I would have ignored these concerns and marched ahead, but now... Oh, Grievous. Do you know, Twyla, when we were just kids, I was such a timid girl. I was so scared. I was the one to fear the worst instead of hope for the best. Even if the worst was just a small drop in an otherwise blissful ocean. It was Grievous who pulled me out of this misery. His arrogance was the fire that set my heart alight and fueled my struggling spirit. Contender, what can I even say? You'll do it, right, babe? I know I'm not a perfect person, but is anyone really? Twyla, you'll help me, won't you? Can I just give confidence? I don't know, Contender. I'll have to think about it. In the meantime, how about you tell me what you've come for, Tristram? You wanted your necklace enchanted with arrogance too, no? I try to pull my focus away from the hurt in her eyes. I have to make a decision. I can't tempt the forces anymore by questioning her further. But for now, it's time to focus on her brother. Yes, that's correct. Could you tell me a bit about why? Well, for some background, I'm a poet myself, Twyla. At least that is my main trade. On the side, I work as a chef to pay the... Nobody asked. I'm merely explaining my circumstances before delving into my woes, Tenor. Of which, unfortunately, there are many. Go ahead. What's been plaguing you, Tristram? Yes, you see, it has been quite some time since I've... how should you say it? Since I felt companionship one so longs for in their youth. I see. And despite my repeated attempts to address this concern of mine, I've unfortunately come up empty-handed. That's too bad. So how does arrogance play into this? Unfair. The answer to that question is a tragic truth I have come to accept. I'm afraid I simply have not been blessed with the most pleasant of looks. It is not something I am happy to admit, Twyla, but c'est comme ça. I don't think that's a good way to view yourself, Tristram. I know it might seem that way to you, but we all see ourselves differently to how others do. I have heard such sympathizing many a time, but I'm afraid experiences courting women have told me otherwise. Get over yourself, Trist. How can you look that bad? You're my twin after all. If that was an attempt at making me feel better, dear sister, then you are sorely failed. Sometimes people are just plain horrible. And I'm sorry if it's been the case for you, Tristram. But really, you're not going to benefit from seeing yourself this way. You look fine. Alas, if that were true, Twyla, would you yourself go on a date with me? Was that a hypothetical, or is he asking me out? I don't date customers. I don't date customers, sorry. That is quite convenient. Excuse me? It's true, Tristram. I've never considered dating a customer before. I don't want to set a bad precedent. And you wouldn't make exceptions at all? Say for a customer with a chiseled jaw and piercing gaze, broad shoulders and unruly hair. What? And here I thought her brother would be easier to deal with. Part of me wants to tell him to mind his own flaring business. But I guess it's part of the job, getting personal with customers. No, Tristram, I wouldn't make an exception. I don't know what you're trying to imply, but it's the truth. Seriously, Trist? What are you going on about? This is real life, you know. Not a flaring internet forum. Apologies, Twyla. I fear I've grown cynical over the years. Despite myself, truly. It is unbecoming of a poet to be so narrow-minded. But my experiences have bestowed upon me some unwelcome preconceptions. That's okay, Tristram. I understand. But please, don't let these experiences get to you. Speaking of, do you want to tell me about them? Yes, where to start? First off, I've realized I have gotten off on the wrong foot. The truth is, my impressions of others have been marred with the Zayesian zeitgeist. Meaning? It is rare to meet one who does not solely concern themselves with the material down there. Thusly, my concern about my physical appearance has been exacerbated. I'm concerned about your vocabulary. Who on earth says thusly? If I had the power to choose, I would thoroughly prefer to focus on mental capacities elsewhere. Do not mistake me, Twyla. After all, I do not want to be a struggling poet at all. But the truth is, loneliness has seized me as of late. Its icy hands have had my heart in a vice for many long years. And I fear I will not last long if I do not do something to shake off its grasp. I'm sorry, Tristram, that's tough. I'm grateful you understand, Twyla. I did not make a good first impression, clearly, and yet, from your attentive listening alone, I feel that your acceptance of me has far exceeded that of any woman I've met in Zayesa. Please understand this is just a part of... I know. I understand this is necessary for your work, but even so, Neria Soul is willing to learn of the person behind the face of this flaring undercity we call home, Twyla. Woman, man, or otherwise, true romance is but a fleeting memory. I looked at Contena. It's true, babe. Like I said, Zayas's weddings are a joke. Neither the bride nor groom flaring cares most of the time. It's hard to find someone genuine at all, let alone someone you can forge a true bond with. Horses, it's really true? I fear it is, Twyla. Zayasans mock the very concept of love, often marrying purely in pursuit of wealth and power. Still, there are many on the other side. Those who yearn for a life deeper than the surface. Once I met such a girl in a group writing session. She was beyond the stars, that girl. A dreamer, lover, a student of life. I couldn't believe my luck when she agreed to a dinner outing with me. Oh. I thought my luck had swayed, Twyla. I thought all the pain and suffering had led me here to this momentous meeting that would make it all worthwhile. I spared not a single effort in preparation for this date, picking out just the right restaurant and outfit. Slick back here. I remember that night well. There I was, table booked, dressed up, and mentally composed as I could manage. But I was a fool to think the stars would be so kind to me. Of course, she never came, that girl. No matter how much I waited, texted, and called. After an hour, the staff kicked me out, and that was it. In pathetic fashion, I was barely even disappointed. At least she had said yes. At least she laughed at my jokes. At least I got a chance to talk to her. About my writing, no less. Hi, the Earth, that's terrible. I don't know what to say. And it happens, Trist. You only need to work out once, and then 100 attempts after that won't matter at all. Yes, however, it took me years to just find the one chance that proved fruitless. At this rate, if we simply look at the situation objectively, it is not looking likely that I will find my one. I do not deign take a statistical approach to romance, yet, practically speaking, I will only be on this earth for so many years. And I will be young and fertile for far fewer. I shudder. This is so depressing. Suddenly, all his strange comments don't seem so bad after all. Okay, we get it. My face is wrinkling just listening to your whine, Trist. Is this where arrogance comes in? Indeed, you see, I need an unreasonable amount of confidence to approach women with hopes of success. It is an unfortunate but practical truth. Horses, Tristram. I'm hoping that this slight touch of arrogance helps me take further chances and to come off as more alluring in my advances. It sounds kinda gross, but is he wrong? I don't even know no after all I've heard about Zayasa. Yeah, it's not a bad idea, but you could totally try harder, Trist. Huh? Excuse me. Do go on. You are more than welcome to amuse me, dear sister. You need to go out more. Go to bars, clubs, the more happening places, you know? I do occasionally when I can manage. Yeah, right. You sure do. I do not know what you are insinuating, Tenna. I truly do, on occasion. Oh, they look so uninterested. And what? You just sit there writing, do you? That was just one time. Still, do you know how embarrassing that was for me, Trist? What in the flaring earth were you writing? Pickup lines? I had a deadline. So, anyone want to fill me in? Yes. Once Tenna took me to a club and I agreed on a whim, thinking it would at least be a good change of environment to continue my writing. Little did I know she'd brought her friends along in hopes of finding me a date. So you ignored them? Well, not exactly. I tried to make conversation. I tried to make what conversation I could. I had to hype you up so much, Trist. You don't even know. Do you know how hard it is to hype up someone as insufferable as you? Whatever. It is irrelevant. You speak as if I can pour 100% of my being into simply finding a partner. I have my own work and life to tend to as well, which again renders my chances even more dire. Putting your pencils away and talking to a woman 100% of your being? That's pathetic, Trist. But fine. Forget clubs and bars. Why not go to the gym? Or fix up your hair? Or get rid of that disgusting mustache? Yes, Tina, you raise a good point. Why don't I just wear a costume and a mask and pretend to be someone completely different as well? I'm sick of all this charading. My pursuits mean nothing if my partner does not in fact care for the real me. I would think that of any, you would know this intimately, Tenna. Oh, she mad. You wanna die? Sick of charading, huh? I'll kill you. I'll flaring strangle your scrawny. What about this enchantment then? Is that not a charade, Tristram? Is that not you trying to change yourself? If someone was attracted to your arrogance and it wasn't genuine, would that not lead to... I stop. Not wanting to set off Contena again. Yes, you are correct, in theory, Twyla. However, there remains an extent to which I must be pragmatic. Otherwise, I simply do not have a chance at finding a partner in my lifetime. And I simply cannot bear this suffering any longer. I must do something now. You're so desperate, Trist. It's embarrassing, please. And what of it? I admit, without shame, I am desperate, but I am human. I cannot stop loneliness from taking its toll on me. I have been an utter mess of a person for longer than I'd care to calculate. I crave the touch of another, the companionship, the conversation. I am desperate for it all. Forget embarrassment. I am beyond embarrassment. For a man to come to terms with the truths of their fragility, they must discard such feelings. What am I to do? Shall I hope? Beyond hope that the stars will shine for me one day, despite their clear enjoyment in doing the exact opposite my entire adult life. Twyla, this arrogance is a complete and utter farce. I will admit that too. However, it is a small absurdity I am choosing to embrace in the hopes of combating a far more terrifying one. I understand, but I can't manage to find the words, but Minovi's wide-eyed look appears in my mind. My little sis wouldn't change herself for the world. Then again, not everyone is like her. The examined life is not for everyone, I guess. But can I really in good faith support this? It feels like accepting defeat. And besides, aren't I just setting Tristram up to later go through what Contena's dealing with now? But I'm still not sure. Arrogance is just such a volatile emotion. I cannot speak for Tenna, but I assure you, I have put much thought into this. I have too, you dolt. Oh, Twyla, babe. You know me by now. You know I understand love better than most. You have to trust me. I know what's best for me and Grievous. Yeah. Please, Twyla. We really can't avoid this with replacing arrogance with confidence. I don't know if I'm convinced by what Contena had to say thinking back. Sure, perhaps arrogance would give Grievous back closer to how he was before, and perhaps arrogance is what Contena truly desires, but confidence should be able to do the job well enough, right? Again, I suggest we enchant confidence instead of arrogance. If you absolutely must, Twyla, I will accept it. At the very least, I prefer it over nothing, and I suspect... No, you idiot! You shouldn't be the one making decisions for me here. Koi? No, it's not confidence. If you want confidence, you do this on your own. I brought you here under my terms. Huh? You brought me? If I'm not mistaken, it is I who suggested the enchantment could help us. Whatever. I came up with the idea. Guys, can we stay on topic, please? Oh my, they're flaring, Mum. Bosses. We're not doing confidence. It's arrogance or nothing, baby. Please understand. I just want what's best for my family, Twyla. I want the love I had before. And Tristram is better off with arrogance too. Tristram? Tenna's right, yes. In all likelihood, confidence will not suffice for my present circumstances either. Does he believe that, or did he just cave to his sister's demands? I am so lost. I can't stop thinking about what Tenna said. The arrogance is critical to her love. She seems helpless admitting it. Ashamed and confused too. I suppose I can't judge her at the end of the day. If that's the conclusion she comes to, that for some unknown reason, she needs this part of Grievous. But am I supposed to believe that only arrogance is critical to this love? And she isn't perhaps in denial of her fading love for a high school sweetheart? If anything, it sounds like Grievous is growing up, no? Becoming a father may mean having to compromise here and there on his rockstar dreams. Either way, how much can I really make this decision on behalf of them? Why should I get to choose? It's their decision at the end of the day, no? But I know the most of these enchantments. I still don't really know much, but I guess I'm still the expert here. It's a small thing, this enchantment, but if Contenta, Grievous, and Tristram are led down the wrong path from this arrogance, I just can't let that happen. I feel a helpless kind of desperation that strangely reminds me of Lau. What would Lau do here? What is the stoic thing to do here? Except that this is beyond my control? No. I should try to be virtuous with the little control I do have here. Right? Suddenly, I feel the urge to break down and cry. Why? Why me? What's the point of this one struggle after the next? I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Enchanting jewelry sounds like fun. Twyla, you flaring idiot. Is something the matter, Twyla? I'm alright, just... Trist, is this all your blazing fault? Why did you have to come off as such a desperate, whiny creep? Beseech you, I trust our judgment, Twyla. But I will accept your decision, no matter the outcome. Please, take your time. Well, there's no use delaying this any further. I'm everything but sure of myself, but still, I have to make a decision. Oh gosh, I don't think it's the right thing to do. Part of love is accepting and learning to love a new version of a person and not wanting to change them back or having them change for the better and encouraging that kind of personal growth and development. And he is growing in a good way, being a good father. And if he does wish to go back to the music field, you know, that's another thing that can be done once the kid is a bit older, when they're at school, stuff like that. As for Tristram, arrogance, I think honestly, yeah, confidence would be it. I don't think I can do it, guys. Don't think I can do it. I'm sorry, you two, but I don't think this enchantment is a good idea. I grimace on the inside as we speak the words and brace for the worst. I've decided not to enchant these pieces with arrogance. Oh, that is the most unfortunate outcome, Twyla. Respectfully, I had hoped you would have granted us the benefit of the doubt, but I understand your position. Respectfully, babe, you have no right to make this decision for me. Yes, I do. I'm the one enchanting it. I'm using my own power. I'm using my own body, my own emotions, as well as yours, but I'm also a participating party. It's called consent. I know this is what's best. I poured all my love into Grievous and Camilla into this choice, and for you to just come along and throw that all away? How could you? But I'm not. You are. I have no words. Tenna, I too am distraught. We are unawares to the strife of a conduit and an enchantress. Who cares? She's totally oblivious to the pain I've gone through, and it's flaring obvious. I'm sorry, Contena. And you too, Tristram. I really am. Sorry? Whoa. You think sorry is gonna cut it, witch? It's happening. Again, I feel my mind numb as her words assault me. Stay strong, Twyla. I swear to the spirits, you will enchant our jewelry right now, or else. Okay, Garen. Enough. Tenna, that is more than sufficient. I care little for the abuse you hurl towards me, but Twyla here has shown no ill intentions, or malice whatsoever. Abuse? She mumbles the word, and suddenly all that fire vanishes. But still, I remain frozen in shock, my heart only thudding faster. I wanted most not to cry, but who would expect anything close to that reaction? I take a big breath and look Contena in the eyes. I have no choice. This isn't personal, Contena. I wish I could help, but so much has been going wrong in this store because of me. I just don't want to make another mistake. I'm sorry. I stop myself short and start again. Thank you for trying to make this work. I hope the two of you can find your way through your struggles. She's so mad. That's really it then? Your decision is final, Twyla? I steel myself. It is. And blurt out the words before I can second guess them. Oh. She falls silent. She must really be at her wit's end. I wonder. Should I have? Let us go then, Tenna. Come. Do not fear the worst. We will make this work, somehow. Your jewelry. Apologies, Twyla. I'm afraid we won't be needing them anymore. It was charming to make your acquaintance, despite present circumstances. Thank you for your time. Without another word, they leave. Contena's eyes do not meet mine. Think. I trudge to the back, listlessly, and lie down, trying desperately to avoid thinking about everything that just transpired.